Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of Let's Talk. This is a weekly Zoom call where we have the leaders throughout the states of the great state of South Carolina as we discuss worship, communications, music, marketing, and social media in light of everything that's going on. And so today we wanted to bring on Morgan Comer. Morgan is the digital content manager at Brentwood Baptist Church, and she runs all 8 of their campuses' social media channels, runs all 8 of their campuses' website, and has leveraged a lot of the things that she does to push forward a lot of the content that they have outside of Sunday services, specifically through video venues like YouTube. So Morgan, just tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do, and hear from you right now. So
yeah, so I've been the digital content manager at Brentwood and for Central since September of 2018. So I'm coming up on 2 years. That's very exciting. And I am realizing that every single day my job changes. Why? Because technology changes so rapidly. And for me, my job, I have realized, is just to keep up with what technology is doing. Oftentimes I am 1 step behind, or maybe 10. But yes, it's very fun for me. And as I was saying, YouTube is one of the biggest things that we have really started to implement. It was something that we did not have at all when I first came on board, and especially with COVID-19, it has become pretty much our main source of communicating through video. So Alex, if you want me to talk about like a few of the, how do you want me to just start from like tips or?
Yeah. I mean, just talk to us a little bit about like, just kind of, I guess, overall, Morgan, talk to us a little bit about what you do on YouTube, how you specify, what kind of content you have on there, and then maybe specifically a little bit about what you do with Pastor Mike, South Carolina's own Pastor Mike Glenn, and just a little bit about how you differentiate that, what you do for like a sermon Sunday morning, what you do maybe for his kind of content, and then from the Sunday morning service, what different pieces do you create from there?
Okay, great. Okay, yes, there are so many facets to this, so stay with me. Yes, and Alex, if you have any questions, stop me because
yes, ma'am.
We can start speeding. Anyways, so YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world. The first is Google. So basically, YouTube, when you think of YouTube, I want you to think of it as something where people are going to search things like how-tos, how to read the Bible, how do I do this devotional, how do I even become a Christian, what is a Christian? There are so many questions that people are searching on YouTube. And it is crazy to think, like, if YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world, and we as a church have the opportunity to be using this platform for free to speak to other people through it and encourage them, we should definitely be on it. So this is something that we started to think about even just like a few months ago. The only account that was on YouTube when I started was Mike Glenn. We started with Mike Glenn because he was doing these amazing videos, and I was like, these need to not just go on Facebook and Instagram. So there's several platforms that we use for social media: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even TikTok for the young folks. But a lot of the content that he was producing, the best place for it was actually YouTube. And it's because it was really well done, like video wise, and also it was longer videos. So it was getting to the point where we weren't seeing very much traction with his Facebook videos. And that is because Facebook, well, first of all, Pages, they have literally dropped the algorithm of Pages so much because they don't really want people going to Pages anymore. They want people living in groups. So that's also another like piece of advice for that. Like, Facebook wants you to be in a group, not a page anymore. So we've noticed like so much engagement go down. So we were wondering like, this is really good stuff. Like what he's saying, what he's producing is really good. How can we get it in front of people? So we started thinking YouTube. Now, the thing with YouTube, anyone can start a YouTube channel. You do not have to be a famous person. Anyone can start a YouTube channel. So many of the people I know who are YouTube influencers use their iPhone. So I don't want you to think like I have to have a certain amount of like gear technology. Oh, our church isn't big enough. We don't have enough resources. No, if you have an iPhone, you have the technology to be able to start a YouTube channel. The second thing that I want to say is when we first started his YouTube channel, what we had to think about were what is going to get searched. So you cannot on YouTube just throw up a video and just title it like today's date Mike Glenn, because no one is searching that sort of thing. So one of the biggest things that I found that was the most helpful to us was just starting to research titles that are being used frequently on YouTube. So one really easy, simple way to do this is to literally just type in your search engine on YouTube, how to, and then see what comes up. When you see what comes up, you can see what kinds of things people are searching, and then that can help you figure out what kinds of videos you need to be producing. So I started realizing, okay, people are talking about relationships a lot. People are talking about anxiety a lot. People are talking about how to get through depression a lot. So we need to start creating content that these people are gonna be able to benefit from. So with that being said, we ended up producing content like that. And then once you put it on YouTube, in order for it to get seen within the search, you have to have a title that is getting high search volume, but not too high as to where it's gonna get like just stuffed down. So one really helpful free Google extension, I recommend this to everyone because it has literally saved my life. It's called TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy. It's a free Google extension that you literally can just have on your YouTube channel. And when you search a title, you type in the title, press enter, and then it will tell you the SEO score. So it will tell you whether or not this is going to be like a good title. And I always try to stay in very good to excellent. So if something is just good or below, I know that most of the time it's going to get stuffed down in the algorithm. It's not even going to be seen by anyone. So we started doing titles that people were really searching for. And it's insane how just one word on a title can make all the difference. For example, like top things I learned during quarantine. That got like not good search ratings. When we said top 10 things I learned during quarantine, it shot up to excellent. So it's crazy just one word, what one word will do to your SEO. So I really truly recommend TubeBuddy. Also, another thing with YouTube is tags. So I want you to think title, then tags. Tags are they're just like hashtags on Instagram or any other platform that you use. However, if you do have TubeBuddy, you can see which tags are actually the ones that you want to put within that video description. So, and it will walk you through. If you guys are like, what in the world? Where do I even find tags? It will walk you through all of this. YouTube has made it very user-friendly, where when you upload the video, it'll walk you through the steps. Like, do you want to add a thumbnail? Do you want to add this? Do you want to add that? So you should be able to easily find it. But with tags, tags will literally make your video the top second one, or like the top third one. So if we didn't have a few of our tags, they wouldn't even be seen in the search. But because of the tags that we have several videos that are like the second, third one on like the search. So that's been really cool. So title, tags. The third one is thumbnail. Thumbnails are so important, and they can make all the difference. They don't have to be crazy. They just don't need to be like just the screenshot that is basically produced by YouTube. So when you think of a thumbnail, I want you to think of, when you search things, what do you usually click on? So the thumbnail needs to be clean and it needs to stand out. Something that I use is like big, bold letters with like super short text, but like three words that I want someone's attention to be drawn to. So for example, Mike Lynn, he does rants. He loves doing them and they get a lot of traction. Every time I put the word rant in his thumbnail, people click it, because who doesn't want to see a pastor doing a rant, okay? But that's what I'm saying. When you have a title, don't try to be clickbaity. That's not what we're trying to do. We don't want to try to be clickbaity, but we also want to bring people's attention to the title. So using bold letters and bold colors are always good. And then also branding your videos to where like each thumbnail has a certain look, where it's not like super uniform, but you know, like the branding of it, that's gonna help make just like your channel in general, like really nice and appealing to look at. So those are the top 3 things that I always recommend when it comes to YouTube. Alex, if you have any other
That's
questions.
great. I guess some follow-up questions. Just so let's say right now I am just recording my sermon and I'm just putting it on my Facebook page, or I'm just maybe taking, a little bit of a devotional and putting it on Instagram. Just tell me what you mentioned about the page, about the fact that Facebook pages is being pushed down and pushing towards group. Talk to me a little bit about how you are determining what channel your video content goes on, and how you are taking existing material and then creating sub videos to maybe, so you're not, some churches may have the luxury to be able to film auxiliary videos of their pastor, but some may only have the capacity to take the Sunday morning sermon, and that's what they have. But to your point, it's also good maybe to have a pastor talk about a certain topic on their iPhone and then take content from that. So overall, how do you determine what kind of video goes onto what platform in what way?
That's such a good question. Okay, so we actually just talked about this yesterday with all the campus pastors, Alex. So if I get too fired up, just anyways.
You're good.
So the 3 platforms that we mainly use, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? So all 3 of those, you can put video content on them. However, each platform is meant for a different purpose. So I'll talk about Instagram first. Instagram is where, to me, the life of your church actually comes alive. So think about it as like God is telling the unique story of your church through this platform. So whenever you post on this platform, or whenever I post on this platform, I'm always asking the question, what story is God trying to tell? Okay, so then does this go within the mission and vision of our church? Does it go within the things that we believe in? If so, this would be an amazing story to post. Now, how can I post it? There are several ways. You could do literally an iPhone video. A lot of people are like, what? That's not, we need to do something super produced. You would be shocked at how often iPhone videos do so much better than super produced videos. It is just insane, the numbers. Because why? Because people want to see something authentic. People want to see something real. If they feel like it was shot like super produced, they're going to be like, that was staged. Like, I want real life encouragement right where I am. So that's why iPhone videos are super great. Now, when you're shooting them for Instagram, shoot them vertical, not horizontal. Because either if the video is going to be over a minute long, it's going to tell you to do IGTV. And then once it's on IGTV, it will go to the vertical length. Or you can post it on the story. So there's 2 different platforms within Instagram, posts and stories. And I really like to hang out in stories because 90%, like only 10% of your audience is seeing your post, and so many more are actually going to be seeing your stories. People are going like this rather than going like this. So they're swiping across versus scrolling up and down on Instagram now. So I want you to think for Instagram, I think of, okay, what is something in the moment, real, authentic encouragement that I can do right now? It is super great to do like a morning devotional with pastors, or have a volunteer or staff member pop in and just say something, a word of encouragement, or even like a welcome to Sunday, that type of thing. Those are all super good ideas for IG story and Instagram post. Instagram post, stay away from promotion is what I want to say. Instagram post, I want you to think of three things. How can you inspire? How can you engage? And how can you encourage? Right there. So yeah, engage, you want them to maybe participate, but instead of promoting your huge thing, celebrate it. So that's been like one of the major shifts, trying to figure out how we can get our campuses to stop promoting things, because just throwing up a graphic on your Instagram, that's not going to impact me in any way. And also that's not going to compel me in any way to go to your event. Now, if you share what God did at that event, that's going to impact me, and that's going to compel me to get involved. Maybe I missed it this round, but that's okay. That's okay. Because your Instagram audience isn't necessarily your church family. Your Instagram audience is external as well. So you don't want to just post things that are only going to be relevant for your church family anyways. I want you to think about, like, how can I encourage, inspire, and engage people right where they are. So that's for Instagram. For Facebook, as much as I want to tell you guys to delete all your Facebook pages, I'm not going to say that. We have not deleted ours. Facebook is still like the #1 platform. However, truly, Facebook will tell you that they do not really like focus on pages at all. Like, they truly do stuff those posts down in the algorithm, and they want you to be in groups. So what I would say is hang out with your videos in Facebook groups. Now, what kind of videos do you post within Facebook groups? What you can do, for example, we've created groups for all of our ministries. So missions, they have a group. They've done an incredible job. What they've been doing lately is literally just interviewing their mission partners and like just asking them questions, and then they'll post that conversation within the group, and it gets so much engagement. Also, not only that, this is a great place to train your people up. So think of groups more as like, okay, this is internal, this is where my church family is, and this is where we can really create disciples and help equip the saints. So that's a great way to look at Facebook groups. And then YouTube. Okay, so YouTube is going to be your more produced things. It's going to be your videos, your Sunday morning videos, but also, why not kids worship? Why not student worship? Stuff like that. So it's not going to be your in the moment stuff. It's going to be your produced stuff, but also it's stuff that people are searching, so they need, but it's not necessarily just like, we're doing this because we want to show the life of the church. No, we're doing this because we know that someone needs to hear this kids worship piece, or someone that really needs to hear this morning devotional from our pastor, or this sermon. So that's why we're going to post it. Another thing with sermons, we have to do this because we haven't done it yet, and we just talked about it yesterday. We're going to be retitling all of our sermons, because right now they are titled as the date, the pastor, and the campus. That's a terrible title for a sermon. That is a terrible title. Why? Because no one's going to be searching that. So it's not going to come up in anything. So we are literally rethinking all of our titles for those that are already posted, and then we're going to go through all of them and start doing custom thumbnails for them.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the title, the tag, the thumbnail, and being able to have your more immediate content through the groups, having the life of your church be through the Instagram. This is and not making a promotion. It's not a promotional tool. It is a celebrational tool. and the pages is where maybe the majority of the communication. Facebook groups are maybe where the majority of the actual communications of those specific communities are happening. And then YouTube is a search engine where people are searching both internally and externally, more even than internally, about how to serve their life. Tell me, Morgan, I know one of the things that we did when we worked together, we chopped up the clips and Mike's clips into smaller clips. Have you seen that be effective? Is that something people are working for? Is that a channel that is an effective thing? Because again, if maybe, some of these churches, all they're going to have capacity to do is just do the Sunday morning service and then take content from that. Would that be an effective way to maybe grow your Instagram stories, or maybe grow content on your Facebook groups, or have those sub clips as separate YouTube videos that then are searchable on topic? Just kind of talk me through a little bit about creating content, not making more videos, but chopping up what you already have.
Yeah, I love that. And for a lot of the times, like if you are a smaller church and you don't have all the resources to just produce nonstop, that is a great way to be able to continue to create content that's compelling and still impactful. Yeah, so we like to think of it as the triangle. And Alex, you remember this. So long form videos started at the bottom. So it was the bigger piece. That was a really big video. So from Sunday morning or whatever event, some type of service or something, and then we would chop it up and create separate pieces of content out of that. So we'll make a 60-second long clip of something super compelling that Mike Glenn said, or another campus pastor said, that you can take it completely out of the context of the entire sermon, and it just, that chunk works as like a 60-second inspirational piece. I feel like that's a really huge point that a lot of people miss, because what we don't want to do is just take chunks that you have to have the entire pie in order for it to make sense. No, you want to be able to take the slice out and just have that make sense alone. So then, 60-second sermon clips. Also, then take 15 seconds from there. And what you do with that is you put it on your IG story. So now you've got post, story. Do 2 of those. That's already 2 posts and 2 different stories for your week. So that's already 2 things covered. Let's say you lay out your content calendar and you want Sunday morning to be something inspirational, like we're excited to see you. Monday, sermon quote. Great idea. Always a great idea to reflect and continue to keep that in the forefront of people's minds at the beginning of the week. Tuesday, well, let's say you cut up one of the worship songs. So you sliced out one of the worship songs. That's more than likely going to be over a minute long, but guess what? If it's over a minute, then you have IGTV. So not only are you doing 2 photos right here, then you have IGTV, which is awesome. Then the next day, you've got a sermon clip, a minute-long sermon clip. This just acts as a regular video on Instagram. This is fabulous. Now you've got 4 pieces of content, and 3 of which are all hitting the Instagrams this is what it's meant for. IG story, photo, and just a regular video. Then at the end of the week, you can kind of refresh them. Hey, this is what we learned last week, and we're so excited for what's to come this Sunday. We hope to see you there. That type of thing.
No, that's really great. That's really great. And being able to take that content. There's services like Revcom where you can help transcribe and get the text of the sermon, which will help, I'm assuming, with the search engine optimization, SEO, that Morgan talked about a little bit, because now the text, those are searchable terms that, if there's a 60-second clip of topic X, that now in the description is the entire transcript per se of topic X. Those are things that are searchable. Somebody has a question there, Morgan, about playlists. Just, are they helpful? Is that a helpful thing to kind of categorize your videos by playlists, either on YouTube or on Facebook, or do they matter? Just kind of talk me through just kind of a little bit to do with playlists.
Playlists are super great for your YouTube. Now, it's not going to matter when someone's just searching. However, it's definitely going to matter when they visit your channel.
So if you just have your videos, just all your videos on your channel, that's like walking into what store is really overwhelming. It's like walking into a thrift store. I say that because I thrift all the time, but things are just everywhere. You don't really know what's going on. There's no organization. So if you have the organization, it's going to be really a lot easier for people to find your stuff. So we organize our playlist. We'll do each sermon series as a different playlist. On top of that, then we've got the worship. So then you've got a worship playlist that you have all your worship stuff. On top of that, then you have kids ministry stuff going on. So why not have kids? Then you have the kids playlist, then you have students, and then on top of that, you have Devos. So it's kind of just like a really great organization tool. Also, playlists do show up in the search for YouTube. So if you have a playlist, think about not naming it something internal, but something that is going to be searchable for your external audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as you're making these clips on topics or, a specific, let's say, loneliness, and, maybe when your pastor has mentioned loneliness in these certain things, being able to talk through those, certain clips. Morgan, all of this is super obviously fantastic, but let's say I'm the worship pastor, I'm the social media person, I'm the designated tech person in light of everything that's going on, and I want to increase our social media, the use of video overall on social media. And all I have, is my sermon, that we recorded in the back of our sanctuary with a camera or an iPhone. Like, where would you say would be a good first step that people can take that be able to start to increase the way that they use their video online through like a channel like YouTube?
That's really good. Okay, so if you have terrible, like if you just have like a security camera recording your stuff and the visual is just awful, one really good platform that we use for a lot of our stuff is called Headliner. And what you basically do is you put the file in and then you can do like the sound waves over top of it. So maybe instead of putting this on YouTube or Facebook as a full-on video, why not podcast? If the visual is not great, hey, you can still be on Apple and Spotify as a podcast and blow up. So, and still be reaching so many, like thousands of people just through your just through your audio. But with Headliner, we've taken a lot of those pieces that weren't like super great visually, put them into Headliner, and then it has the cool sound wave. You can also do like customized graphics on there, and you can turn those into IG story, IG post, or even post them on YouTube. I think that's fine too.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. So like Headliner, or we've used before over here an app called Biteable, which does kind of the same kind of thing. If you haven't heard of Canva, Canva is an app that allows you to design stuff. So but this allows you to mirror, as Morgan said, being able to take your content. We're not not asking to create more content, but just kind of thinking through how you can utilize the content you have. Imagine if you have a funnel. Morgan talked about a triangle, but if you think of a funnel, you start with your Sunday sermon, and then you turn it into a podcast, and then you turn it into littler stories, and then maybe you turn it into a cool graphic or quote that the pastor said, and you haven't made anything new. You've just sliced it and diced it in different ways. So Morgan, I appreciate you so much, all the stuff that you have to add. Obviously, tell us maybe a little bit about what you think, you saying at the beginning, you talked about, staying up and what's next and whatever. So, kind of feeling like that you're a little bit maybe per se behind. For us, just, those who are in deep in social media land, what would you say is next? And maybe something that we need to, just as you kind of some party thoughts, what do you think is next, just kind of in the realm of video that we maybe should be looking out for? And then just anything you would say to encourage the various worship leaders and, creative tech media people across our state.
Yeah. Well, I would say that TikTok may be getting banned from the US. We're not for sure about that. There's a small possibility. However, YouTube and Instagram are going to be coming out with competitive features for TikTok anyways. But I would say with that is start thinking short form content and vertical.
Yes.
a lot of the times, like, we are so used to shooting everything in horizontal, it's gonna start going vertical. So I would say start thinking like short form vertical stuff, 15 to 30 seconds. You can go up to a minute, but just think out of the box. When you don't think like, oh, we need a 3-minute and 30-second video. Well, those aren't gonna do well anymore. So I would say, yeah, short form. That's the biggest heads up that I've been given right now in the social media world.
And
also, for those of you who are doing everything, worship leaders, comms directors, doing it all, God bless you. Get volunteers.
And your volunteer is going to be your 13-year-old kid that ain't doing nothing but being on his Nintendo Switch over the summer, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I will tell you, people who are way smarter than me are a lot younger than me, especially when it comes to my field. So I like to hang out with younger people because oftentimes they teach me a lot more.
That's very true. That's very true. Morgan, thanks so much. Morgan Comer, she's the digital content manager at Brentwood Baptist Church. Next week, we're excited to have our very own Corey Singleton. Corey Singleton is the former associate student director here at the South Carolina Baptist Convention, is the current worship and creative pastor at his church and so we're excited to have him on, and we hope to see you guys next week as part of Let's Talk.